big boy operation as well. Also, the museum was founded in 1921 and it is the oldest organization in North America devoted to railroad history. And a small group of devoted railroad historians gathered in the home in the spring of 1953. It set wheels in motion to organize the local chapter and is even known as the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society SoCal chapter. And the exhibit first opened in 1954 with the first acquisition of which was the Climax gear type steam locomotive, and the place was originally located in San Bernardino, California. Then in the 1970s it was moved to this location here in Pomona, California.
What you see right behind me is the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Arcadia Depot.
The Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Arcadia Depot was built in 1887 and was originally located in Arcadia, California. The depot also was used for passengers to buy a ticket and go on a train to somewhere, or to arrive on a train from somewhere to be riding on the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe trains. Also, it is a fine example of the gingerbread style architecture. Then the depot was retired, and in 1969 it was donated to the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society SoCal chapter when Rail Giants was originally located in San Bernardino, California till the 1970s, and was moved to the present location in Pomona, California in 1989 at the Los Angeles County Fairplex grounds as well. Also, the building is in this position as well, and also has a gift shop inside, as well as exhibits you'll find as well.
What you see right behind me is the United States Potash 3.
United States Potash 3 was built by Baldwin in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1903 and is the 1882nd steam locomotive built by that factory, and is a 280 consolidation type steam locomotive. Also, this locomotive was built for narrow gauge track. It was originally built for the Arizona Copper and number 20, and it also hauled copper for many years. Then it was transferred to the Morenci Southern Railroad in southern Arizona, and it retained the number and ran from Morenci, Arizona on the San Francisco River to connect with the Arizona and New Mexico Railroad in Guthrie, Arizona. Then, in 1921, it was then used at the Phelps Dodge Corp. Then, 10 years later, it was then sold to the United States Potash Company and was renumbered 3 and was used for hauling ore in Carlsbad, New Mexico. Then, in 1946, it was retired, and then 10 years later, it was then donated to the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society SoCal chapter when Rail Giants was originally located in San Bernardino, California. Then, in 1970, it was moved to the present location with the museum at the Los Angeles County Fairplex in Pomona, California. The locomotive is the only narrow gauge piece in the collection as well. Also, United States Potash 3 is one of 3 surviving steam locomotives that once served the United States Potash. And number 3 is seen here on display at the Rail Giants Museum in Pomona, California, where it can be seen today.
What you see right behind me, Southern Pacific 5021.
Southern Pacific 5021 was built by Alco in Schenectady, New York in 1926 and is the 667 93rd steam locomotive built by that factory and is a 410-2 Southern Pacific type steam locomotive and is an SP2 class steam locomotive. This locomotive is the first of 49 410-2s built for the Southern Pacific, numbered from 5000 to 5048. Also, it was used on the Southern Pacific Railroad to haul freight for many years, but the locomotive initially hauled passenger trains over the Sierra Nevadas, but was soon moved to fast freight, and then its last years were spent working largely in Oregon on the Portland Division. It was then retired in 1955, and in 1956 it was then donated to the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society SoCal chapter when the Rail Giants Museum was located in San Bernardino, California originally. Until the 1970s, it was moved to the Los Angeles County Fairplex grounds in Pomona, California with the museum. Also, Southern Pacific 5021 is the only surviving Southern Pacific 410-2 left in the world today. As well as that, it is one of 5 surviving 3-cylinder locomotives in the USA as well, and can be found here at the Rail Giants Museum in Pomona, California, where it is seen on display today. And also, you can even visit the locomotive's cab and even blow the locomotive's whistle and ring the locomotive's bell. But unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to make demonstration videos of me blowing the whistle and ringing the bell on this locomotive.
What you see right behind me is Union Refrigerator Transit Company 67806.
Union Refrigerator Transit 67806 was built by General American Transportation Company in 1950 and is a refrigerator car. The car was used for the Refrigerator Transit Company, which was a St. Louis, Missouri and Milwaukee, Wisconsin-based private refrigerator line established in 1895 by the Joseph Schultz Brewing Company. Also, the car had the Oscar Mayer logo on it. Also, it was repainted into a Hiawatha orange, and a year later was assigned to the Cudahy Cudahy Packing Company. Also, this refrigerator car was used for hauling like produce, vegetables, and even dairy products as well, and other stuff this car may have hauled many years ago and was used on freight trains and even used like on a line of refrigerator cars identical to it many years ago, and even used on freight trains for the Chicago, Milwaukee, and St. Paul Railroad many years ago as well. Then later on, this refrigerator car was retired, and in 1991, it was then donated to the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society SoCal chapter, which is Rail Giants in Pomona, California, with the museum to the Los Angeles County Fairplex grounds as well.
What you see right behind me is Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 1314.
Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 1314 was built by American Car and Foundry in St. Charles, Missouri in 1923 and is a pre-CE class caboose. This car was once used on the back of freight trains many years ago and served as the train crew's office. Then, in 1955, the car was retired and was then acquired by the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society SoCal chapter when Rail Giants was originally located in San Bernardino, California. It wasn't that long until the 1970s when the museum was moved entirely to Pomona, California, to the Los Angeles County Fairplex grounds as well. Also, it was lettered Bigelound Express for a Kid Songs music video called Little Red Caboose back in 1994. After that, it was then repainted back to the original look as well. Today, it can be found here on display at the Rail Giants Railroad Museum in Pomona, California, where it is today. And also, you can even visit the interior of the car as well.
What you see right behind me is Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 1992.
Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 1992 was built by Pullman in 1930 and is a horse express car. This car was used for having horses on board and used for passenger trains on the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad, and it transported racehorses between racetracks and other points around the country during the decades when passenger trains were the principal means of transportation. It has a very wide end door at one end for loading horses from special platforms to which it could be backed up with smaller door within it for car-to-car passage. The three wide sliding doors per side, the equipment needed to feed and care for the horses and accompanying attendants and handlers, and space for railway express agency use. Then this car was retired and in 1971 it was acquired by the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society SoCal chapter and was put on display at the Rail Giants Railroad Museum in Pomona, California, where it is seen today. It was also carefully restored and repainted. Today, it can be found on display here at the Rail Giants Museum in Pomona, California, where it is seen today, and also you can even visit the interior of the car as well. Nickel Plate Road 6 was built by Pullman in 1923 and is a business car. Originally, it was owned by the company that built this car and was originally named Mountain City. It was built as a 10-section observation lounge car. Then Pullman rebuilt it into an 8-section during Solarium lounge car and it was renamed Carlton Club and was added with air conditioning for service between Cleveland, Ohio and St. Louis, Missouri on the Nickel Plate Road. In 1959, it was rebuilt as a business car by the Nickel Plate Road Railroad and was renumbered 6. Then when the Nickel Plate Road merged to the Norfolk and Western Railroad in 1964, the car was then owned by Palos Verdes Peninsula Railroad, and it was used for private rail car travels. The new owners installed red drapes, carpets, propane refrigerators and stove, crystal chandeliers, and took trips to Del Mar, California during the racing season. The car eventually was purchased by the Robert P. Warmington Company and used in Anaheim Hills as sales offer for their housing development. When all the homes were sold and this car was donated by Robert to the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society SoCal chapter, when Rail Giants was located in San Bernardino, California till the 1970s and was moved to Pomona, California with the museum to the Los Angeles County Fairplex grounds. And also the car was renamed William Fletcher in honor of a past president of the Historical Society. And also you can even visit the interior of the car as well.
What you see right behind me is Outer Harbor Terminal Company 2.
Outer Harbor Terminal Railroad 2 was built by Alco in Schenectady, New York in 1887 and is the 2409 steam locomotive built by that factory and is an 060 six-wheeler type steam locomotive. This locomotive originally worked the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad and was originally numbered 590 and was likely used as a freight locomotive and even used for switching cars around. Then in 1893, it was transferred to the Southern California Railroad and was renumbered 40. Then in 1900 it was transferred back to the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railroad, but it was renumbered 2285. In 1909 it was sold to the Outer Harbor Terminal Railroad and was renumbered 2. Then in 1955 the locomotive was soon retired and in 1956 the locomotive was donated to the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society SoCal chapter when Rail Giants was located in San Bernardino, California till the 1970s and was moved to Pomona, California with the museum to the Los Angeles County Fairplex grounds and was moved with the museum to right here, and it even had some cosmetic restoration done on it. Originally, it was parked behind Union Pacific Big Boy 4014 and sat in the back corner of the museum with the Climax locomotive, Fruit Growers Supply Company 3 till 2013. The locomotives were moved backwards to make clearance for the Union Pacific Big Boy 4014 to be towed off the museum grounds, and then it was moved closer to the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe caboose with the Climax. Also, this locomotive is one of 2 surviving Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 060s left in the world today. And Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe 9005 is the other one and is in Clovis, New Mexico. And this one is the only Outer Harbor Terminal Railroad steam locomotive surviving today as well and can be seen here at the Rail Giants Museum in Pomona, California. And also you can even ring the locomotive's bell, but you'll have to be on the foreground to do that, though.
And that's how it's done. What you see right behind me is Fruit Growers Supply Company 3.
Fruit Growers Supply Company 3 was built by Climax Locomotive Works in Erie, Pennsylvania in 1909 and is the 932nd steam locomotive built by that factory and is a 3-truck Climax type steam locomotive. The locomotive was originally used by the Northern California Lumber Company in Hilt, California, and it always had this number, and it has been used for hauling lumber as well. Then, in 1913, it was sold to the Fruit Growers Supply Company in Hilt, California, and kept the number and was used to move fruit around. Then later the locomotive was retired, and in 1953 the locomotive was donated to the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society SoCal chapter when Rail Giants was originally located in San Bernardino, California. And it was the first acquisition of the chapter. Also, it was there until the chapter moved it with the museum to the present location, and it had some cosmetic restoration carefully done on it. Till the year 2013, it was parked behind Union Pacific Big Boy 4014, along with Outer Harbor Terminal Railroad 060 number 2, and then the two locomotives were moved backwards to make clearance for the Big Boy to be towed off the museum grounds, and then it was moved closer to the Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe caboose, but still behind the Outer Harbor Terminal Railroad 2 as well. Today, it can be found here on display at the Rail Giants Railroad Museum in Pomona, California, where it is on display today.
What you see right behind me is Union Pacific 6915.
Union Pacific 6915 was built by Electromotive Division in LaGrange, Illinois in 1969 and is the 345 41st diesel locomotive built by that factory and is a DDA 40X type diesel locomotive and is also known as a Centennial. This is the 16th DDA 40X, also known as Centennial, that was ever built for the Union Pacific Railroad and is one of 47 that were built. Also, it worked as a freight locomotive on the Union Pacific Railroad. The name Centennial was used to mark the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in May 1869 in Promontory, Utah. Then it was later retired in 1984, and then it was acquired by the Rail Giants Museum in Pomona, California. Also, it got repainted over the years and looking great. Also, Union Pacific 6915 is one of 13 surviving DDA 40X Centennials left in the world today, and it can be found here at the Rail Giants Museum in Pomona, California. And also, you can even visit the engine's cab and sit where the engineer used to sit and even blow the horn and ring the bell as well. But unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to make demonstration videos of me blowing the horn or ringing the bell on this locomotive.
What you see right behind me is Union Pacific 9000.
Union Pacific 9000 was built by Alco Brooks in Dunkirk, New York in 1926 and is the 665 44th steam locomotive built by that factory and is a 412-2 Union Pacific type steam locomotive and is a 9000 class steam locomotive. This locomotive was used for hauling freight trains, and it was the first of 88 412-2s to be built for the Union Pacific Railroad, numbered from 9000 to 9087. Also, the locomotive has 3 cylinders. Also, it is the largest non-articulated locomotive ever built. The locomotive was assigned to the Laramie, Wyoming Roundhouse, where it operated as part of the freight pool and was shopped according to mileage schedule. One of the design challenges was to create a firebox that would sit above the last drivers but still be of sufficient size to generate enough steam for its intended use. The solution was to install a low wall of brick 24.5 inches high atop a steel support about 30 inches from the rear of the inside throat sheet. It also worked freight mainly between Council Bluffs, Iowa and Green River, Wyoming, but other 9000s worked over much of the Union Pacific system except north of Huntington on the Oregon-Washington Railroad and Navigation, and the north end from Pocatello, Idaho to Butte, Montana, where their wheelbase and weight proved unsuited. Then later the locomotive was retired, and in 1956 it was donated to the Railway and Locomotive Historical Society SoCal chapter when Rail Giants was located in San Bernardino, California till the 1970s, and it was moved to Pomona, California with the museum to the Los Angeles County Fairplex grounds as well. Also, Union Pacific 9000 is the only remaining 412-2 left in the world today. As well as that, it is one of 5 three-cylinder steam locomotives in the United States as well, and it can be seen here at the Rail Giants Museum in Pomona, California, where it is today, and also you can even visit the locomotive's cab and sit where the engineer and fireman used to sit, and also blow the whistle and ring the locomotive's bell.
And that's how it's done. And that's how it's done. What you see right behind me is Union Pacific 24567.
Union Pacific 24567 was built by the International Car Company in Kenton, Ohio in 1967 and is a CA13-2 Class Bay window type caboose. This car was originally used by the Chicago, Rock Island, and Pacific Railroad and was originally numbered 17149. It was used a lot for freight trains for many years and also was used as the train crew's office as well. Then, in 1980, it was then used by the Union Pacific Railroad and was renumbered to 4567. Also, the caboose was then part of the Union Pacific steam program of Cheyenne, Wyoming for many years. Then, in 2013, the car was then part of the replacement train to the Rail Giants Museum for Union Pacific Big Boy 4014, which used to be on display at the museum, and now it's part of the Union Pacific steam program. Also, this car is now displayed on the museum grounds, and also you could even visit the inside of the caboose as well.
What you see right behind me is Union Pacific 453-665.
Union Pacific 453-665 was built around like the mid or late 1900s and is a 60-foot boxcar. This car was used on freight trains on the Union Pacific Railroad many years ago and hauled cargo such as boxes, rolls of paper, and a lot of merchandise and etc. Then in 2013, the car was part of the replacement to the Rail Giants Museum for a Union Pacific Big Boy Locomotive 4014, which used to be on display at the museum, and now it's part of the Union Pacific Steam Program. Also, it is now displayed on the museum grounds, and it even acts as a storage car for the museum as well.
What you see right behind me is Union Pacific 3105.
Union Pacific 3105 was built by Electromotive Division in LaGrange, Illinois in 1979 and is the 786 181-8 diesel locomotive built by that factory and is an SD40-2 type diesel locomotive. This locomotive was originally built for the Missouri Pacific Railroad and originally numbered 6027 and has been used for hauling freight for many years. Then in 1983, it was then used on the Union Pacific Railroad when the railroad bought the Missouri Pacific Railroad. As well as that, the locomotive was renumbered 3927. Then in 2003, it was renumbered 3105. Then in 2013, the locomotive was retired from service on the Union Pacific and was repainted at the shops in Little Rock, Arkansas. The railroad traded it to the Rail Giants Museum in Pomona, California, as it was part of the replacement train to the museum for Union Pacific Big Boy Locomotive 4014, which used to be on display at the museum, and now it's part of the Union Pacific Steam Program and Heritage operations. Along with the trade for the Big Boy, this locomotive wasn't the only piece to be traded for it, but it came to the site along with a bay window caboose and a boxcar. It was leapfrogged onto the museum grounds the same way the Big Boy was rolled off the grounds. In 2014, it rolled into its new home. Today, it is now displayed on the museum grounds, and as well as that, the locomotive is the only operating piece on the grounds as well.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed learning about trains with me today in Matthew Lapp Train Guy. Also, I hope to see you all again real soon. And if you didn't subscribe to my channel yet, the subscribe button is just down below the video screen. And if you didn't give the Facebook page a like yet, here's where you want to go. And if you didn't follow the Instagram page yet, here's where you want to go as well. Also, be sure to get your merch at teesprings.com. The link is in the description box below, along with the Facebook and Instagram pages. And remember to subscribe to the Train Guy. So this is Matthew Lapp, host of Matthew Lapp Train Guy. Sign now. Until next time, all aboard.